We had test drove so many cars. You definitely more so than me. You did a lot more research than I did.
Right.
So for me to say it was a lot.
And you're happy you were so picky.
You did a lot of research and I was very picky. We took a break from November to March, had several campaigns, design campaigns, a lot of work, holidays, and then I had to turn in my car, buy a new car, and I bought my car on the 15th. Amir bought his car on the 16th.
So
which is pretty awesome.
That's cool. And so there's so many decisions that we've talked about previously, one of which was, do we get this boy, we're going to help him out with a car. You kind of advocated, and Rustin advocated for a leased car.
Yeah.
And I was all about going the Dave Ramsey route and getting him a car that was used, well maintained, and we ended up going that route.
Yep.
Are you happy with the car?
I'm very happy with the car, and I'm glad that I was picky. Like, you would think that as a mom, you're not going to be picky because you're not driving the car. It's not your car. Mm-hmm. But you don't want to worry about your kid calling you because they're on the side of the road and there are car troubles. So yeah, we had test drove so many cars. You definitely more so than me. That whole research process was a lot. Mm-hmm. You did a lot more research than I did.
Right.
So for me to say it was a lot.
And you're happy you were so picky.
You did a lot of research and I was very picky. But in the end, because there was one car that you picked for like $6,500, and I was like, there is no way my son is getting this car. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you were like, I mean, it's fine, just spit shine it, it'll be okay. And I was like, no, sir. So yes, I am extremely happy that I was picky. I feel like you've had him take us different places. He brought us to the airport. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And, in that other car, I'm not getting in that car. But this one, it was great.
Right. Yeah. So the stats are, he got a 2014 Mazda that was sold in this town, was maintained at the dealership mm-hmm. in this town, had high mileage, but it's a Mazda. And one of my things was that I wanted a Japanese car mm-hmm. Because their ability to go high mileage. I was able to see like 21 pages of maintenance records, every oil change, all that stuff.
And what model is it?
It's a CX-5, mm-hmm. which is a crossover in the same category, I say, as a CRX, Honda CRX.
Yeah.
CRV, what is it called?
CRV.
Yeah. So it's a seemingly reliable car that had very few issues in terms of, no prior accident history, stuff like that. It has mm-hmm. a couple little minor blemishes in the paint.
Yeah.
Has some stuff in the upholstery. But other than that, it's got a Bose sound system, which he's very happy with.
Yes, that was definitely a plus. That he's into music, and so the fact that it had a Bose sound system, we weren't even looking for.
Yeah.
What I wanted you to do was talk about, what was your criteria when you were searching for a teen car for a boy? What was your criteria?
Yeah, my criteria is exactly as you said. Is number one, reliability overall. I don't care.
That was your number one.
That was my number one.
Okay.
Is that if I'm going to send you out on the road, and I feel good enough to send you out on the road on your own, I want to minimize the idea that you'll have mechanical difficulty and have to call me to come save you. Mm-hmm. So that meant I needed to go Japanese. Mm-hmm. And also, one of the things I was looking for was to give him at least a 2-year run with the vehicle. And so that meant, again, Japanese with the ability to go another 20 to 25,000 miles. Mm-hmm. Those were my criteria. Your criteria was far different.
But before you get into mine, just talk about the mechanics and we went to a couple dealerships where you said, hey, listen, this is my son. He's 20 years old. He's looking for his first car. They were like, don't get that, get this.
Yeah. So our local mechanic was very helpful. Mm-hmm. He had a car that, a small pickup truck mm-hmm. that he was offering for sale. And his point was, this is all I've ever driven is small pickup trucks. Mm-hmm. And I've rebuilt this one completely. So this would be a great car for you. And he sat and talked with Amir about the idea of buying his first car. And he says, look, I can sell you. I got a Mercedes over there. I got a BMW over there. And I've got this Nissan small pickup truck. He goes, out of those three, your very first car, I think you go for this one because it's going to cost less to own, going to cost less to maintain, It's already rebuilt. So, and you know where I am. I'm not going anywhere. And if you want to make an additional little money on the side, you can haul stuff in this car. If you want to drive to the beach with your girlfriend or whatever, you could throw some stuff in the back and y'all could drive down to the beach. This is a very versatile vehicle, and Amir was completely against it. But what it did was that conversation also framed things from another adult that I was already telling him. Like, this is your first car, dude.
Right.
You don't want to get a car that requires premium gasoline, or that is going to have high dollar repairs that are necessary along the way, or that is going to die sooner because it's not meant to last forever without expensive repair and expensive maintenance.
I also think that some of the dealers, once you told them who the car was for, also recommended Japanese cars, because they were like, it's the longevity of the car, that this is where you want to be, and also understand, you know, there are going to be bumps and scratches and scrapes that he's definitely going to get on this car. So you definitely don't want, you know, the new pristine car. That's just not a reality.
Right.
I remember when we went to the dealership, I think it was a black Infiniti, and he and I both really liked it, and it was an Infiniti. And so you were like, nope, it's not Japanese, I don't want it. And 2, it's going to require premium gas. And hindsight, I'm so glad we didn't get that car, because right after Amir got his car, the gas prices skyrocketed.
Infiniti is Japanese.
Oh, well, see, I didn't know that.
That car is old. That car was like a 2006. It was well maintained and it looked good. But yeah, that car sooner than later was going to require more money dumped into it than one of the newer cars. You know, like, so you were advocating for a certain year Honda Accord that you liked the body style.
Yeah, I like a certain body style.
He's 6'5", so he wasn't going to fit in anybody's Civic for sure. That just wasn't it. But yeah, one of the things that we got from the dealers, especially guys who had these used lots, was that once I spoke with them, you could see like there was a filter applied.
Yes,
you know
most
what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah. And they understood, okay, yeah, we would say you that Volkswagen over there, but that doesn't meet really the criteria.
Right.
Because you seem like the kind of dude who's going to show back up at my doorstep, which I am.
Yeah, I was in love with the Volkswagen GTI. I thought it was the perfect car for him. And so the guy was about to hand us the keys so we could test drive it. And you were like, slow down. Let me tell you what my criteria is first. And so once he talked to you, he was like, you don't want anything to do with that car.
That happened more than once.
It did.
Right, yeah.
That was funny. So I would recommend, what would you recommend if you are a parent who's like, okay, it's time for me to go get my kid a car?
Yeah, advisory mode moment. So I don't know for sure if I have gender politics in my answer. So I'm going to say that up front, because I don't know if I would handle my daughter the same way as I handle my son. I'm admitting that.
Yeah.
Right? It would be easier for you to convince me to lease an inexpensive lease for my daughter than it would be for one of my sons, for better or worse.
That's interesting, because I'm wondering why. She's not going to drive any different than he is.
I don't know. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying,
That's
like,
strange.
Absolute reliability would come from a new car, right?
So if I'm your son, I'm like, man, you have me out on the road. You're okay with me being out on the road, but she gets a leased car.
If you look at the numbers, young female drivers are better drivers than young male drivers.
Okay,
so
well,
she's less likely to crash the car than a young male driver. We just saw last night a dude did a 50-foot jump in San Francisco with his brand new Tesla Model S. It was a young dude, right? I don't know why he even has a Tesla Model S, but he thought it could fly.
Right.
So he put it on stupid mode and jumped 50 feet in the air over a hill and totaled his car.
I don't see any female the same age doing that.
No, she's not, because she wants to drive again tomorrow. And this fool would rather live for that 3 seconds than... And so that's the point. So I'm admitting there might be some gender politics. But if we go into advisory mode moment and say, for other parents who are looking at your kid, your young son, getting their first car, I absolutely stand by the idea of getting a used vehicle that is new enough to have the newer technology, Japanese, because the trends say that a Japanese car will last as long as you take care of it. Very hard to kill some of these cars.
Okay.
As much history about the car as you can find, meaning get the Carfax, don't let your wants supersede the information. So the information is the information. If you see oil change, that means it's got oil change. If you wanted it to have an oil change, but it's not actually there, then it probably didn't have it. Like, go by the data. See, was this car well maintained? Was it taken care of? And then, pricing is a whole different conversation because we're in a ridiculous used car bubble.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think the point is pay as much cash as possible so that you are not adding extra payments to your kid's life.
Yeah.
If you do your money like we do.
Yeah.
The kids are responsible for earning money and contributing to their lifestyle. I'm so anti-subscription in multiple facets of my life unless they're making money.
Yeah. So you're saying
Buy the car in cash.
Buy the car in cash, yeah. We thought about him buying most of the car in cash and then financing some of it so that he could establish credit.
Yeah.
And we ended up going against it and just allowing him to purchase the car in full, which he did.
Yes.
And then
With our help.
yeah, and then he pays his insurance, which
Yes.
isn't as high as we thought it was going to be, which is also huge to note. Because I really thought he was going to be paying like $600, something crazy per month, because he was a 20-year-old, male paying for insurance, and that wasn't the case at all. I think he pays $120.
160. He doesn't have comprehensive insurance, which means that, if he hits a tree, the car isn't. I don't think that's paid for. I think this is the kind of car, that level of insurance that he's paying for, you walk away from the car.
Yeah.
Versus if he hits somebody else's car, somebody that hits him, his car can be replaced because, that's the type of insurance which he needs.
Yeah.
So I would say get a car, get the most car you can afford from a brand that's going to last long, and that's going to have the safety features you want. It's going to have the airbags.
Yeah,
it's going to have
that was important.
The maintenance that you want. And so for me, that's Toyota, that's Honda, Mazda in this case.
That's the next thing I was going to ask you. When you're filtering the car search,
Yeah.
what brands are you checking for?
Yeah, those. I'm going for those three. And then always have a mechanic go through the car from bumper to bumper. So we not only did the Carfax situation, but we had the car taken to our local mechanic who we paid to go through the car and give us his honest feedback of what he saw.
Yeah.
And so when those two things were confirmed, we bought the car. And I was involved in every step of the process. For example, the windshield was cracked on this car. And so the guy we bought it from, that was part of the deal. It's like, look, you're going to have to replace the windshield with the rain sensor. You're going to have to get the car detailed and all that. And we're going to pay you your asking price, not even negotiating the price. But these are the terms that I want.
Yeah.
And it worked out.
I think it's kind of important to note that Amir really wasn't involved much in the process of getting his car. Like, even though he was paying for it, he was going to work and was really like, I don't care. Whatever, if you find it, send it to me. Do I like it? Luckily, he wasn't this, high maintenance. It's got to have this. It's got to have that. He didn't really care. Can I get from A to B? And do I semi like the car? That was great on our part. I think that was very helpful.
I read him a little differently. He had some hard no's.
What was a hard no?
Some categories that he just did. He didn't want to dislike the car. He almost is a person who doesn't want the car to stand out in any way. He would rather the car damn near disappear in the sea of cars.
Yeah.
But if it stands out in any way, he doesn't want it. So like, he wouldn't have taken a bright orange car. He didn't want the pickup truck because it wasn't a sedan. It wasn't like what he considers normal.
He didn't want a pickup.
Right. Like, it was a hard no.
Yeah.
Even if it was a great deal.
That's true.
It was like half the price.
Yeah.
He also has some sensibilities that are similar to mine. He didn't want to make payments.
He didn't want to be in debt.
He values freedom.
Yeah.
Like I do. And so he was like, yeah, no, how much is that?
Yeah.
Wait, how much is it going to be a month?
Yeah.
And so buying the car outright is a perfect match for his personality in that case.
That was fun to watch. And I think that's when you see the differences in your kid. Like, you have this kid and there's two of us, and that practicality in him definitely fell on your side.
Yeah, for sure.
100%. Like, when we were driving the Infiniti, he was coming over to my side. And then when we got out of the car, he started thinking about the payments on the car. And it was really the gas. It was like, premium gas? How much is premium gas? No, I can't. No, I'm not doing
How much is a horse? How much do they eat?
So yeah, I appreciate that about him, and it's funny because now one day, I think it was because they had his car, they were doing the windshield, and he was at home without the car, and he was like, I don't know how I did this. Like, I can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
We were like, you've had the car for a week, son.
Yeah. Yeah. So shout out to all parents who are looking for cars for their kids. Safety features matter, maintenance matters, brand or at least origin country matters in this particular case. Japanese brands matter. And good luck. I'd love to hear what you guys do and what they choose.
One last thing. How long did it take? How long from the time we started to the time we purchased the car? How long did that take?
It took like 6 months.
Yeah. So it's not like a month thing. It's an investment in time, definitely.
It took like 6 months, and part of that is economic conditions as well. So, it won't always take that long. But price at this time, the cost of used cars doubled in a matter of like a year. So it really made a difference in what the available marketplace was, what cars were available, and what the price points that could you find a car that even made sense to buy.
Yeah.